Hello, hello, everyone. Rejoining Davy here. Excited about a very special book club that I am about to embark on. And with me today is the author of this fabulous book. Yes, Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. Thank you, sweet, the perfect spokesmodel. And there it is. Take it
There
away.
it is.
Yeah, the crowd goes wild.
I
love it. I love it. And can I just say, you guys, I have worked this book twice through. You know, I went through all the stuff, did everything that was recommended, build up my 10% accounts, all the things. And then recently with COVID and all that, had spent a lot of my 10%. And so I decided I have fucking got to do this book again. And I reached out to Simone and I said, you know what, I'm going to do a book club for this book. And so we're just here. I'd love to hear what inspired you to write this book and maybe a little bit about your history with getting out of debt and all the things.
Okay, so first thing what inspired me to write the book was the tools work. It's like seriously, Christopher Hughes, a friend of mine, he's a co-facilitator as well. He said something the other day and he said, I use the Access Consciousness tools to create myself as a millionaire. And I went, huh, you did too. And I went, I did too. And I was talking to Dane here, who's the co-creator of Access Consciousness. And he went, huh, I'm stealing that. I did too. And I went, yeah, there's a lot of us who actually became millionaires based on using the Access Consciousness tools. Now, I used a lot of the Access tools and I could see that they worked and they were brilliant, loved it, great, excellent. Yay, life is getting better. And I refused to use the tools around money. I literally sat in this class one day on the Gold Coast, Australia, with Gary Douglas and Dane here. And here they are, and they're talking about, Access tools, that here's more tools with money. And I was literally sitting there going, oh, here we go again, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's great. That's all fine. That sounds great, but they're never going to work. And I was sitting there and I went, oh, Simone. I was like, what if you actually started to look at these tools and use some of them? So I picked a few tools and I didn't tell anyone. I really had that space where I went, oh, I think this is something I need to create on my own and change on my own. And I started to implement some of the tools and I resisted them. So if you guys are resisting any of these tools, the only one thing I can say is I took one for the team, okay? I resisted them for so long. You don't need to resist it. It's like, walk straight on in there. If you don't like the tools, it's like, trust me. It's like, move forward and just start using them. What I did to get away out of my resistance, I made the demand of myself for 3 months. 3 months I would use these tools. And then I thought at the end of 3 months, if nothing's changed in my life, which is pretty much what I thought was going to happen. I was like, oh yeah, I'll still be in the same situation. Nothing will change. Then I'll stop using it and I'll just spend the money that I've saved or blah, 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 And at the end of 3 months, and I literally set a note on my calendar to sit down with myself and go, okay, sit down in your office on your own, pour a glass of wine, because a glass of wine is always nice. And it was like, and look at your finances and have a look. And at the end of 3 months, I realized, wow, it's like things had changed. And it wasn't like this massive, big, huge change. But one of the key things I noticed was my point of view around money had changed. The energy around money had changed. And I actually had money. Like I hadn't had money in ages, like just sitting in my bank account. And it was like, wow, that's a different reality and a different energy. And something that actually made me feel really uncomfortable was having money. And I find that that's one thing that comes up for a lot of people is they'd rather be in debt and they'd rather have a money problem because they know it. It's like they're so familiar with that.
I find it interesting. There's so many people that aren't willing to have money. And if you're not willing to have it, you can't even get to the next step of actually having it, Incredible.
I know, it's like happiness. It's like, it's just a choice. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Money is just a choice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True story.
You asked me how I began. So this was, I was $187,000 in debt. So after that seminar that I went to with Gary and Dane, the first thing I did was I went home and I got everything out. Like it wasn't like I had everything piled, like it was all neatly organized. I just wasn't paying any bills, So I went through everything and I worked out how much money I actually owed, how much money I had, where everything was, who I owed. And then that's when I sat there and worked it out and went, oh, wow, I'm 187,000 Australian dollars in debt. And I did have a little beyond. Like, that's the thing. It's like, life isn't always rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes life throws you some like hurdles and my question is, how high are you going to jump? And what do you do if you stumble and fall? What's the next step? And to me, acknowledging that I was $187,000 in debt and then going, okay, so what am I going to choose? What am I going to choose when I wake up tomorrow? Am I going to choose to judge myself, to, buy into those limitations to create more debt? Or am I going to choose something and take some action that allows this to change? And that is what I chose, is take some action that allows all of this to change. And to tell you the truth, Rudrani, as well, like I said, I resisted it. I didn't really like any of these tools. But the one thing I realized, which Einstein always says, doing the same thing and expecting a different result is the sign of insanity.
Right.
I was doing the same thing and expecting a different result. You may as well just go and start hitting your head against a brick wall. So I knew I had to do something different. So my question to you is it time for you to choose something different and change it up and change your financial reality?
I love that you said that, because you guys, it really is just a choice, just like happiness is just a choice. Are you willing to actually make that choice? And this book is so beautiful. It's funny because, I found Access Consciousness in 2003. I didn't actually leap in until like 2011 or so. And I did the Becoming Money workbook. And I worked that book, and things started to change for me. But it wasn't until I actually read your book and started doing all the things that were suggested, which are just the tools, you guys. These tools are fucking amazing. So don't choose them, right? That my world completely changed. It completely changed. And I'm this person now that really enjoys paying my bills. Quarterly taxes come up and I'm like, oh, yay, here we go.
I have the money to pay taxes. Yay.
Right. And I know that that's weird. So
but we are.
It's all good. You know what, you guys, I have been there, done that, just like Simone has. And so that's what this invitation is about. I'm actually beginning this class. Gosh, it's coming up this Wednesday. And I made it in a very time-friendly zone for all the places, not just the Americas. So we're doing November 10 is when we're starting. I'm actually looking at my notes, from 3 to 4:30 p.m. CST, which is Houston time. Thank you so much. We're going to work these tools. You're going to get assignments. That's why you get a week in between. Because I have learned, it's kind of like if you take it in little incremental steps and you go to that space of choosing for you, that's doable, right? So we've got November 10th, 17th, 24th, and then December 1st and 8th. And I'm so excited to do this. And I am living testimony that can work. I'm working the book again.
I am too.
Right? I just love it. Yeah. So it's my new little thing now, little happy dance. So if this intrigues you at all, if it makes you feel lighter, if you're actually ready to jump in and do the things, I promise you, Simone, you're so brilliant. These tools work so well, and you're gonna have to purchase the book. Just saying, because we're gonna work this book, and I'm gonna work you over in this book. If you're ready, it's not for the lighthearted. It is a space of, if you're truly ready to actually choose something different, I got your back. So is now the time.
And can I just say thank you so much for doing this as well. One of the greatest gifts I've had of writing this book is the feedback that I get from people just going, and it's also not just for people who are in debt. It's if you desire to create more wealth. Like there was a client I had who actually had a hell of a lot of money, and he was like, look, I'm not in debt. I know I'm stuck. So it's like anywhere that you're stuck and you desire to create more, these tools work. So it's not about like having to be in debt. It's like you can have lots of money, you can have wealth. What if you actually were able to choose more? So yeah, and it is, you can get the book, and also you can get on Audible. I'm reading it. I highly recommend getting both. I'm a big fan of Audible lately. I'm loving it. Yeah. High five.
I totally had you in my ear when I was in Florida facilitating Relationships Done Different, by the way.
Right.
This is a class that Simone and Brendan Watt created, which is also freaking amazing. So I got the Audible and I was following along the book and taking little notes. And that's kind of my way of doing things, because I'm an author as well. I have 3 books and I'm working on 2 now at the same time. You know, the whispering. I'm showboating here, so sorry. But it was so cool because even, you know, when I first read the book, you didn't have the Audible yet, but I could still hear you talking. So to be able to actually hear your voice and follow along was just amazing. It was amazing. And I'm so grateful for you to be willing to actually share your story. You know, she wasn't always this person. What I love about Simone is she used to travel the world, and she would buy the second least expensive bottle of wine because she did not want to buy the cheapest bottle of wine. Oh, you know, I'm gonna go for it and buy the second cheapest bottle of wine.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get
yeah, I don't want to be a cheapskate and get the cheapest bottle of wine. I'll get the second cheapest. Yeah.
which I totally get. For me, it was a new age thing where I would go into the store and be like, okay, which mac and cheese am I going to get? Well, I should get the Kraft one because it costs a whole $1 more. And that means I'm actually investing in myself. So when I hear you say that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember those days. And I was like, yeah. I don't want to be a cheapskate. I don't want to, you know, do all the things. So
I remember living in London, and we were like, we could literally write a book on how many different recipes you could do with 2-minute noodles. That's what we lived off, 2-minute noodles, and then what do you put in it? You know, it was like, because we were poor. It was like, you know, we had, but we had us. You had the fun, and so now it's like, yeah, like I don't desire to have those days either. And hey, I got through them, and now I have money. Like I'm a millionaire based on using access consciousness tools. So
that's
guys,
my target.
Don't wait.
We're all millionaires. I'm telling you. What could you do?
Start creating.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So if that's the least bit intriguing to you, this is the invitation. Please join me. And Simone, thank you for joining me as the invitation as well. And I'm telling you, it's amazing. This book, it's like a toddler is run off. It speaks many different languages, and there have been so many people that have benefited from it. I'm sure you know that. It's, you know, as an author, people reach out and say, oh my gosh, Simone, you've changed my life with this book, and you've changed my life with this book, and you're changing it again. And I am going to share that experience with those of you that want to come play. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. And all the information is below, you guys. So ask, you know, what will my life be like in 5 years? See if it makes you feel lighter, all the things. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me directly. I'm more than happy to be there for you. I've got your back, all the things for sure. Thank you, Simone. I am so grateful.
Way too much fun. Bye-bye.
Yes, we will. Ciao, ciao for now, y'all.
Bye-bye.